There has been a lot of tension between police and minority communities over the past few years, as you have seen well covered over and over again. But this time, we're happy to bring you a positive story. Now, it involves police working directly with high schools to improve those relations. Our own Dominic, he traveled to 2 schools in 2 boroughs, one in the Bronx, the other in Brooklyn.
Theodore Roosevelt High School, 1 block away, White Castles. Across the street, Fordham University. The number 9 bus runs along Fordham Road to Riverdale. Here, young people have a tough view of the police.
We could be standing, maybe commuting, maybe on our way to work or something, and they'll drive by and they just stare at us, and they may, depending on how they feel, they may hop out the vehicle and throw us on the wall for nothing.
Have you ever been thrown up on the wall?
Yeah, plenty of times.
How does that make you feel?
I mean, it's a bad thing to say. It's just like I'm used to it.
But many people across our region are trying to bridge the gap between law enforcement and the community, like school principal April Leone and NYPD Lieutenant Donzel Clare. Welcome to Coney Island, Brooklyn, where 1 block away from the famous Boardwalk area is Liberation High School. Parts of Coney Island is a poor community with 9 different housing projects. Many residents here never leave the community. Seeing her students upset at ongoing relations between students and police, Principal Leone decided to start a class for her students. Lieutenant Clare teaches the 5-month course that includes hands-on activities and field trips to police locations.
So sometimes our communities are misrepresented out there, and law enforcement, new officers, sometimes even seasoned officers may get disenfranchised or discontented with the community. And then that doesn't produce a positive thing. And then with the community, they feel a lot of times that police department and police officers don't care about them, that, you know, they're just there to lock everyone up, or there's a big issue with racism. White officers don't understand the black community or the urban community, and that's wrong, because there's a lot of officers that will give their lives willingly to save someone. And with this class, that came out with some officers, and it really has an impact on our students. So there's some misconceptions, but through this class, we're trying to bridge that gap.
We will come back to Lieutenant Clare in our next segment. Principal Leone, first of all, I want to thank you for the excellent job that you're doing at this school, educating children and saving lives.
You're very welcome. It's always a little difficult for me to be thanked for saving lives. Honestly, I don't know how to receive a special thanks for just doing what I feel like everyone is supposed to do in life and on this earth, and that's to help others. And that's all I really feel like I do from day to day.
How did this class about police and community come about?
The class came about for a number of different reasons. One is watching the daily struggle of my students fighting for a better life and not feeling safe in an environment or around adults and officials that should be there to help them, including educators. So whether it's educators or police officers, you know, part of what I take into account every day inside of my building is making sure that we don't ever represent or look like that educator who couldn't be trusted or didn't really care or was here for a paycheck. But specifically after the Eric Garner decision not to indict, I had a town hall meeting with all of my students, and the emotions were really high. And, you know, students were angry and they were hurt, and then some were just pretty, you know, this is just what happens. You know, I don't expect anything more, I don't expect anything less. And I felt that I had to do something bigger to change that thought, that feeling, to have them feel empowered, to have them feel respected, to give them a platform for their voice. Like, we do have a voice, and we shouldn't just feel like this is just a run-of-the-mill, it's okay. And then I started with Inspector Lewis, actually, and started simply with just organizing a basketball tournament, and Lieutenant Claire was involved, and one of my requests was that we didn't just have community affairs or youth officers partake, because those are typically the guys and who have that great relationship with young people. I specifically asked to get more people who are on the beat, who are on the streets, to participate. And it was very uncomfortable for a lot of the young people coming in. It's like, you know, and a lot of them said, I'm only here because I trust you. But before halftime came, everyone was having a good time and forgot all about the negative feelings.
For the most part, with societal issues, people complain or stay on the sidelines. You decided to try and do something about the problem.
Because I was one of the kids who watched the people on the sidelines watch me suffer. I came from a really tough background, born to very young parents who were trying to figure out their way, witnessed a lot of violence.
Bobby Verner took the law enforcement class, graduated from Liberation High School, and now attends the Borough of Manhattan Community College. He and other students describe Principal Leone like a mother figure.
My principal, she's not even my principal. I consider her as my mom, because she's just an amazing person. The way she looked after me since the day I walked into school was just grateful. I'm truly blessed to have met her.
In your opinion, what's the relationship between the police and the community?
It's grown, definitely, because the way I see things now, I have an understanding of the things they do and why they do the things they do. It's all for the better. It's not to hurt or to show that they have power. It's to genuinely help.
To help the community.
Yes.
And coming up next, when we return here, a candid conversation with the NYPD lieutenant you just saw in that story. We'll head back to Liberation High School in Coney Island, Brooklyn, and we'll talk to an officer who is on the front lines.